today I am so excited because we are in Boulder, and today we are talking to Megill, who is Black-owned business here in Boulder, which is amazing. There are not many. I'm having trouble finding any others. But we're also talking about how Coach Prime has come to Boulder, and he has changed things.
Yes.
What changes have you noticed?
More of us, more people that look like us, the beautiful brown rainbow that we are. I worked on campus for 12 years as an HR finance manager, and it used to be I would go a month without seeing anybody that didn't look like us. So for me to walk around and seeing at the most 4 to 6 people in a month to seeing 4 to 6 people in a day, I love it. I love seeing us in Boulder because Boulder's a beautiful place to live. It's like almost like living in a sitcom. So it's nice for us to be able to participate in some of these, being able to sleep with your door unlocked, walking down the street and someone waving at you, I like Boulder.
Now you sleep with your door unlocked because I hear there are bears around here. Now they might come in.
I didn't say I do. I'm from Texas. I lock the door as soon as I walk in the house. But there's definitely bears, mountain lions. My kids do throughout school. I'd probably say at least 4 times their school has been locked down, and it's not because of a school shooter, it's because of a bear or a mountain lion on the playground.
I guess you didn't get that in Texas.
No, we shoot animals and eat them.
Now, what do you find coming from Texas as a black man coming to Boulder? What are the differences? I mean, you said that you can...
Yes, other than like us, not seeing us, it's like being from Texas, I am coming from a military family and thinking I was going to spend my life in the military and doing things along. I've been around a lot of people that wasn't us. But Boulder has a very high ratio of not us. So that was the first thing I had to get used to. Second thing I had to get used to was the bland food. The food was more expensive. There wasn't as many good food places. And that's actually how Big Daddy's Texas Barbecue started, was because there was no good barbecue. There was no good fried food, so anything barbecued, smoked, or fried, I had to make it myself because I got tired of spending money and being unhappy.
Now, I have to tell you, so I'm a vegan, so there's not much I can have here. I'm hoping you'll add some options for me at some point. I do have some
for you. I make a vegan burger and meatloaf.
Okay, see, I didn't know. I'm learning. But I was going to say, I didn't even realize, I've been coming to Boulder off and on for 6 years, actually longer than that. But I rarely see other black people. It has changed since Coach Prime. I see more now. But I didn't even realize you were here. I didn't know there were any black-owned businesses in Boulder at all.
I don't know why, because it's not many at all. I think at the highest point, I've seen probably 6. A lot of people don't know, but the McDonald's that owned in Boulder, when I first got here, I don't know if they still are, but when I first got here, they were black-owned.
Oh, wow.
That's the guy I was telling you about that moved up to Vail. Okay. So other than Mateo, myself, I am the only black-owned businesses, me and Mateo that I knew of. My old business partner, he's right outside of Boulder in Louisville. He has a restaurant called DJ's Water Hole.
Okay.
He and his new business partner do a barbecue Indian fusion, and it's pretty tasty. So if you guys are ever in the Boulder area, check out DJ's Water Hole off McCaslin. Great food. Probably the best hot wings in the state, to be honest with you. Unless I saw back making mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool. And I think it's cool to see how Boulder is becoming more diverse. So really, when I used to come to Boulder, well, I say used to, even last year, okay, or 2 years ago, coming to Boulder, I really wouldn't see any black people, maybe 1 or 2. But like just the other day, I was down on Pearl Street Mall, and I think I saw 3.
That's it. So y'all, if you haven't been to Boulder, you don't understand. It's funny because it's true. A buddy of mine, right when they announced that they hired Prime, a buddy of mine called me and was like, dude, you know what? Out of all the black guys I know in Boulder, we're the only ones with black wives. I was like, nah, that's not true. He's like, think about it. Think about all the black guys you know. And I went through it, and we were the only ones married to black wives. So it's not many of us here, and it used to be a joke. Like when I first came here, they have something called the Buff One card, and it gets you on all public transportation for free. And I didn't go to CU. I didn't have a Buff One card, but because I was a big black guy, they assumed I was a football player. So for my first 4 years, I'm sorry, I forgot my Buff One card. And come on, let you on the bus, go down to the airport, everything, because that's who it was. The only black men on campus or in town were like ex-athletes or current athletes. So that's why, So when they hired Prime, man, that's probably, other than being a Deion fan. I've been a Deion fan my entire life except for 1 year. The man has changed Boulder. The man has changed Boulder. I love what he has done. He's brought us to Boulder. And I came from an HCBU to Boulder. So I know what it's like being on a black campus and then coming to CU Boulder and seeing all the beautiful, majestic stuff that they had. Like when I came here and looked at the stuff my cousin had, I was like, my God, y'all spoiled. Y'all are spoiled and lazy. The dudes I played football with would love to have this stuff.
So what was the difference? What do they have as far as facilities?
Money. They had better weight equipment. They had better technology. It was like we at the ACBU had hand-me-downs. I learned when I was in college that when you make a donation to a college, you don't, like, if you want them to spend that money on a certain thing, you should buy that certain thing and donate that to that college, because an alumni from our university donated a bunch of money and was supposed to get us new weight equipment in our gym, and the president of the college allocated those funds to housing, which was probably needed more, but as an athlete, I felt slighted.
Right.
But I walked into CU's stadium and they had everything they needed. They had all the support, academic advisors. They had all the equipment. They had the recovery equipment. Like when I hurt my knee, I had to sit in an ice bath. These dudes got like steam rooms and stuff like that. We didn't have that. They have everything. That's why when Prime came here, my prediction was in his first 3 years, he's going to be playing for the national championship, because they have all the support they need in order to get there. They just really didn't have a coach that cared about the student athlete. And Prime cares about the student athlete. He cares about that young boy becoming a young man, becoming an old man who will be able to provide for his family and teach his family how to grow up and be men and good citizens. So I love what Coach Prime has brought to Boulder. I really, really do. I think these boys are blessed to have him in their lives.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see, like, the change. It's funny. So actually, I used to be a TV news reporter, and I did an interview with Coach Prime, like, over a decade ago. And at the time, he was, like, working with some young kids at, like,
in Dallas,
actually, this was in Florida, at a camp. And he was doing it with a friend of his. But I will say, you could really see that he cares.
He does.
Like, it seemed genuine,
He does.
right? And when you're around certain celebrities or people, everything doesn't always seem genuine, but it did seem like he genuinely cared about even those kids. I'll put a link, actually. I'll put the clip of it at the end of this video if you want to see the old interview I did 10 plus years ago of him with these little kids, and it was nice. But that genuine spirit.
So I grew up in Dallas, and he was a coach to a few guys I played football with, their sons. And I've never heard a bad thing about Deion. Never. The dude will tell you, you may not like what he's saying, but he's going to tell you his truth, and he's going to, hey man, but you got to respect what he says. I love it. I love a black man that's not afraid to stand up for his and those around him, because that's how I was raised. And I love when I see someone raised the way I was raised, teaching the next generation how. Dude, I love and respect what he's doing, and I'm so excited for these kids as student athletes, because he's going to make sure they get their grades, make sure they're in class, then also make sure they're working out and performing on the field, and he's going to give them every opportunity. With Deion and the University of Colorado, their alumni, their support system, their administration, their staff, these student athletes will have every opportunity to do whatever they want in life. And I truly believe that. That's from working on campus for 12 years, from being a Division I college football player, from seeing what's going on behind the scenes. I'm excited for the University of Boulder to have Prime in their lives, because he's amazing.
And what do you think is going to happen with Boulder? What do you think is coming up with Prime? Do you think the black community will continue to grow? Will we get some more black businesses? What do you think?
I believe so. It's just, how are these businesses going to come? Because it's my belief right now that we're at a big point of evolution for business. we're at the beginning of AI. Like I said earlier, we're at the point where commercial real estate is no longer going to be a factor. I rented my restaurant out that I had, $7,000 a month, rooftop patio bar. My commissary kitchen I built out, $3,200 a month. I could be buying a second home, and rent that out to somebody, let them pay the mortgage, something. So I think as some of these avenues evolve to where we're going to be in the next 5 to 7 years, I definitely think black business is going to increase. I think the only reason why we don't have much in Boulder is because we don't have many black people. And now that our numbers are coming, the ratio is going to increase in that also.
Well, I'm excited to see what continues to happen in Boulder as we go forward, as Coach Prime goes forward. It's fascinating. Thank you for your time today.
No, I appreciate you coming by.
And when you're in Boulder, you know where to come.
Come check me out. Big Daddy's Texas Barbecue. We smoke something. Real Texas barbecue is not a style, it's a life. All right, baby, check me out. Smoke something.
You heard it.
From the sidelines, it looks like an ordinary football practice. But these kids got a special lesson from the one and only Prime Deion Sanders. His friend and former teammate Corey Fuller invited him to help teach the kids.
He has a passion and a thirst and a hunger to support these kids, to just give them a way up as well as a way out.
And that passion is contagious, which is why Deion came to Quincy to help show these kids there's life beyond the neighborhood they know.
To see two guys that made it in the NFL that come from the same type of situation that they come from, and it's important.
During practice, groups ran drills and practiced X's and O's. But organizers say it's not just about football.
1, 2, 3, kids going to get little fundamentals about football, but most of all, respect and discipline. And I think that's what our young kids need today.
And when Deion talks, the kids listen.
He always say yes or no, so you have to respect that.
Getting mad at your team, that's not right, to get mad at your teammates for something.
Corey and Deion say they hope to have this camp every year for the kids in Gadsden.